أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم الحمد لله رب العالمين. Dear brothers and sisters, we want to welcome you again to our discussion during the month of Ramadan. We begin with seeking refuge in Allah from Shaitan the curse, and we with the name of Allah, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer, we praise him, we seek his aid, and we ask that the prayers and peace be upon his noble messenger Muhammad. And for perspective, dear brothers and sisters, we are saying, we're quoting from the Quran in English, "Oh, you believe fasting is prescribed for you the same way it was prescribed for those who came before you so that you may practice self-restraint." In our last session, we talked about some of the do's and don'ts, or referencing some of the do's and don'ts. And so one of the things that became a question was, how does a person perform the wudu when they're fasting? Well, here in the Prophet ﷺ is reported to have said from Laqit ibn Sabira, radiyallahu anhu, قال قلت يا رسول الله أخبرني عن الوضوء. And he said, "O Messenger of Allah, inform me about wudu. Give me some knowledge of wudu so that I can make it correctly. I'm coming to you, O Messenger of Allah." And the Prophet ﷺ responded by saying, "Asbig wudu' wal khalal bayna al asabi' wa yadalif wa balagh fil istinthaq illa an takunu sa'iban." And the Prophet ﷺ tells him that we should be thorough in our wudu, and that we should wash in between our fingers and our limbs, our hands up into our elbows, the whole process, unless we are fasting. That we should put water in our nose and we should gargle unless we are fasting. Illa an takuna sa'ima. Illa an takula sa'ima. So he says, istinthaq. Wal-balik fi istinthaq, the idea behind letting the water reach the nostrils, reaching the throat, all of that, gargling, that type of process. He says, do so unless you're fasting. Unless you're fasting Ramadan or fasting at any other time, you should not be putting the water in your nose or your mouth. But you should put the water over your face. You should put water over your hands to your elbows. This is the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ when fasting. Okay? When fasting Ramadan. So for many of us, we might make the mistake and think that you can still, after the Adhan is called, after Fajr prayer, we can still put water in our nose and our mouth. We should not do so. We should be careful of that, and we should be on guard for it, because if we get any water in our mouth, then we've broken our fast. Or if it passes the jof. And the jof is the area in which the letter kha is pronounced. The ha in kha is pronounced. Or the kha in ghain is pronounced. Once it breaks that process, then, and it's in the jof, which is the throat. Once it gets past that area, then the fast is actually broken. And why is it considered broken and not done out of forgetfulness? Because this is an act that you've done basically on your own, making the decision to do so actively. You didn't forget, you made wudu, but you did not make it correctly while you're fasting. And so it's important that we attach some sensibility, some balance to our understanding and offer this as an application. And the fasting, the whole process in and of itself, that if we were able to fast and rinse our mouth out all day, then you wouldn't get the breath that's considered sweeter to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala of the faster. So it's important for us to understand that, dear brothers and sisters. Just remember the hadith in and of itself. It's a hadith number 1243 in Riyadh and it talks about the Prophet ﷺ being asked a direct question about his wudu. in fasting. May Allah help us, may increase us in our understanding and application of this deen, and to that we say Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ramadan Mubarak, Ramadan Kareem.